brothers and sisters. Wagwan, peace and blessings. Bless to all the family out there, man. Just had so many things on my mind that be running through my mind. I just got to share with y'all. And the number one thing I want to discuss right now is the spirit has hit me. The spirit always hits me with so many things that it keeps me that I'm privy to um, have access to. I'm privileged to have access to. And a term that I would like to share with y'all is social oppression. Social oppression. Social oppression and social slavery are synonymous. These are synonymous. You probably never heard the term social oppression or social slavery. Something that the spirit just hit me with to give to you. You know, and when I say social oppression, when I speak of social slavery, understand that this is the spiritual form of war. When we talk about war, when you analyze and break down the process and mechanics, mechanisms that goes into war, you understand first and foremost that war is not only physical, but first is spiritual and mental. Because where the mind is, the body shall follow. Wherever the mind is, the body shall follow. And it's the thought that counts. It's the thought that counts. So not only are do we have an overwhelming case of physical bondage in America, but first, which precedes it, what precedes it, is the social bondage and the bondage on the conversation, dialogue, and commentary of American society. So when I say social oppression, understand that everyone from your most esteemed rappers and businessmen, executives, and corporate people or whomever, and all these people who you admire on your televisions, and so many people that you admire in the business world and professionally or whatever, they all participate and condone social oppression. And by condoning and participating in social oppression, you are naturally giving way to and condoning physical slavery. Every generation has its own form of slavery and its own form of bondage. Its own form of bondage. Pretty much every generation. And now this generation is no different, but what makes it the shame is what makes it the greatest shame is we are this is a society which sells itself and promotes itself as a free society when everything that happens within it is to the contrary. So when I say social oppression, my first example of social oppression would be um, anywhere that you have a conversation. It could be at your job, it could be in a restaurant, at a bar, whatever. For the most part, when you're speaking to white people and when you're talking to white people about anything, white people are all ears. They're enthusiastically all ears when it comes to issues of other races and other people. You can talk to white people about Mexicans crossing the border. You can talk to white people about all these Asians here and how everything is made in China. And, you can talk about black on black crime. You can talk about black people are lazy. You can talk about Obama if you want. That's their number one thing now is Obama. That'll take up the whole 8 to 12 hours of your shift is talking about Obama. And all of these things are methods of scapegoating, and keeping from addressing their own issues. These are messages, but the main thing is that We can talk about all of these other groups of people, and it's not racism. As soon as you say something about white people and you run down their sins and you run down their bullshit, now everyone's quiet and now you're racist for that. The conversation changes somehow, and now we're racist for calling out white people in their bullshit. But when we call out every other people in their bullshit, we can laugh at it. And it's comedy, it's funny, it's fun with Dick and Jane. You know what I'm saying? And this is something that we've allowed white people to do all through our time in American history. Being here, especially within these last 40 to 50 years, we've let white people develop selective amnesia on their history and their record. And understand, as a black man in America, and not just a black man in America, but a black man worldwide, understand that black people, especially black men, specifically black men, are the most incarcerated species of human beings on the planet. The black male. So I'm speaking from an international concept when I speak. So when I break down just how we have allowed them to put themselves above the conversation, understand that, like I say, it's not racist when we're talking about anyone else, but when we say something about white people, that's racist. So, like I say, it's all about records. It's all about records, right? And especially as a black man in America, we are familiar with the consequences that comes out of having an extensive criminal record in criminal history, right? Um, so many discriminations, legal discrimination. Basically, it's legal discrimination because the same qualifications or the same stipulations or whatever that existed when when we were slaves apply when you have a so quote unquote criminal record in America. In America, you can't, you're denied housing rights, you're denied voting rights, you're denied loans, you're denied employment. So many things. It's legal discrimination. These records allow legal discrimination. Understand? And that's what Michelle Alexander was saying in The New Jim Crow, if y'all are familiar with that book, if y'all are familiar with her material and her work, about legal discrimination and how, having these records and giving us no true alley and pathway to rehabilitate ourselves or work ourselves back into society where we can build skills for ourselves and make ourselves more productive habitants of society. When you understand the concept of legal discrimination in records, in criminal records, and how they use these things to, judge us now, and you take white people's records and you take black people's records. Now, when you take my record and you apply it to me here in America, I'm a criminal. I have this long track record, so therefore I don't deserve this job or this loan or this housing area or whatever or whatnot because of my record. I don't deserve a position of leadership. I don't deserve another opportunity because of my record. But when it comes to white people's record and when we run down their criminal history, we're racist for that. And this is the mind control. This is the social oppression that we have allowed Europeans and white people to impose upon our society. And when you allow things like this, you ultimately become self-destructive by nature, which is what black people are now. Self-destructive by nature. It comes without thought. It comes without conscience, And so, like I'm saying, when we allow them to call us criminals. And then when we turn around and do the same thing and we analyze their record and put it in front of them, we're racist for that. And we let them call us racist. And you have black people out here who actually believe that they can be racist. The simple fact that you have black people who think they can be racist. The only way black people can be racist is towards themselves, is hating themselves. Anything else is justice. Anything else is justice, and it's a natural feeling. It's a natural feeling and angst of what you're supposed to have for someone who has, for those who have done harm to your people and your ancestors continue to do it and have no thought about it. Number one. And just the concepts which we have fed into. Like I say, all the way from social oppression to, and another example of social oppression would be the Farmer Dick and Jane complex. The Farmer Dick and Jane complex. If you are familiar with the movie Farmer Dick and Jane, that was the movie with Jim Carrey, and the concept is so real because it shows you that crime is completely related to unemployment, but because it's white people and it's a comedy with Jim Carrey, it's funny and it's fun with Dick and Jane, but it's the concept which is so real. Jim Carrey is a lawyer and his wife is a teacher, and both of them lose their jobs in the positions that are put out in this movie. Jim Carrey being the lawyer and his wife being the teacher. You know, the positions that both of them held are the key positions in America, which, back, support, and validate the lie of white supremacy. The lawyer and the teacher. You understand? Now, Jim Carrey loses his job, his wife loses her job, and they instantly turn to crime. They start robbing people, doing all kinds of criminal activity because they're unemployed. But because it's white people and it's Jim Carrey, it's a comedy and it's called Fun with Dick and Jane. But I can guarantee you, if that was black people with the same plot, the movie would be a drama. It's going to be called South Central in LA, Caught Up, or Waist Deep. Some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And mainly because somebody's gonna die in the movie. It's not gonna be a comedy. Not gonna be too many funny parts in it. Same plot. You know what I'm saying? And that's the mind control. That's the social oppression. The fact that we allow white people to exalt themselves above the conversation of racism. We let white people try to act perplexed when we say white people, but they don't have no problem with white people when it's on the application. They don't got no problem checking the white box when it's on the application. You understand? So understand the social oppression and how deep that trickles down. Where that trickles down in the spirit, in the mind, and physically. And once we can get a true understanding and understanding of that we can understand the depths that society has fell into with believing in a lie, protecting a lie. It's totally antichrist. Believing in a lie, protecting a lie on any level. So, brothers and sisters, man, I just wanted to bring this message to y'all. This is just one of a million. So, holla at your boy, man. Bless.